crap, I'm back. It's me. It's me. It's GJC. And now my phone's going off. There we go. Where's my watch? Whatever. I'm back. Holy crap, it's been forever since I've been on the No DQ channel, but I'm here. And what a freaking crazy place we're in right now. Right off the bat, $5. Ken. Yes, thank you, Ken. Been a long time since I've seen those super chats. Makes me happy. Ken, me giving you the welcome back chance. I was looking for your live stream, and here it is. Yeah, you know, I tried to do the live stream last week, and I still don't have enough subscribers over on that channel to do like the super chats and stuff. But yeah, I finally decided I wanted to come back here. It's been crazy. It has been crazy. The world that we're living in, and especially hit the wrestling world pretty hard too. So here we are. Here we are. And this is not just because of the quarantine. This is mostly because I felt like coming back. So here I am. And we got our first super chat, and that makes me happy. Don't forget, the Wheel of Pensen returns in all its glory. I don't know. And $10 super chat gets you to spin on the wheel. What's up, everybody? How's everybody handling the quarantine that we have to deal with due to all this lovely stuff? I'm gonna cut down the thing on my stream quality. Cut it back for me, so that way it hopefully doesn't interfere with anything else. But how's everybody doing? Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. What's up, everybody? Hey, it's like I said, it's been crazy. The People's Wrestling Channel. Hi, Greg. Are you keeping safe? Well, fortunately, I work from home anyway, so that's not something that I personally have to deal with. And I actually quite enjoy not going anywhere and staying inside. It's the introvert in me. 42nd Street Matthew. Happy quarantine. Happy quarantine. It's like a holiday. Not really, because like there's terrible stuff going on, but. The DVD Freak, hey man, good to see you here. It's good to be back. Man, I haven't done a no DQ video in forever. Like, I know I did Trivia Challenge. I might have done like a couple panels and live streams since then, but I think it's been like since July or like August or somewhere around there that I've been on the channel. It's been too long. I've been busy. Been really busy. But now that there's a whole bunch of stuff not going on, I'm not busy. CC Drink, good to see you again. Ken terminated by Google. Am I the only one not worried about the virus? You're probably not. I'm not super concerned with it because it hasn't actually hit our area yet. It's hit like surrounding areas, but it hasn't hit us yet. I don't think it'll really hit me unless it like affects somebody close to me. And until then, I'm not super concerned with it. But you know. We'll see what we got. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. You got more audience members than WrestleMania 36. I can say that, yes. It's like, I have more people watching here than I do at WrestleMania. Yeah. And WrestleMania is a whole other thing. I'm sure we'll get to that. DVD Freak, I work in a pharmacy. Well, at least you're surrounded by a bunch of medicine. So if you need some, you can get some right there. I mean, you have to pay for it. You can't steal it because that's a crime. Cherry Mark, I appreciate that name. What match at Mania are you looking forward to most? It's hard to say because there's probably still a few matches that haven't been announced yet. And I'm just going to bring this up now because I've seen reports, and I still think they're going to go this way. They are going to tape WrestleMania ahead of time with no fans. I don't know how I feel about this because the fact that they could possibly have somebody involved with WWE spoil their biggest show of the year is a problem. Now, it's one thing when you see the dirt sheets and the news reports say, "Oh, this is going to happen at WrestleMania. This is going to happen at WrestleMania." That's one thing. If they spoil the actual results of WrestleMania with it being taped, that's going to be a problem. Not that big of a deal if they would have done that in the '80s because there weren't dirt sheets, nobody knew anything, whatever, what have you. Doing it in this day and age is especially dangerous for a company, not necessarily dangerous from the company's got to worry about somebody coming in and ruining it. It's dangerous because it could affect their bottom line. This could be a financial disaster. It may not be though. If it's not spoiled, if they keep everybody on lockdown, off of social media for a week, which is going to be incredibly difficult because WrestleMania is only 2 weeks away. And it sure as hell doesn't feel like it. I mean, this is something unlike anything else any of us have ever seen as far as a wrestling company. It's one thing when a show, you remember 5 years ago, when they had the snowstorm for Raw, and they actually had to cancel an episode of Raw because people couldn't get to the arena. That's one thing. That was a one-time thing. This is unlike anything we've seen, and I apparently started a workout, which I'll probably need here. I probably will need here in case somebody sends in a super chat and I have to do the Ultimate Warriors entrance again. This is absolutely unlike anything we've ever seen before. And we'll see. If I have a feeling they're going to change booking decisions based on the fact that WrestleMania has to happen this way. WrestleMania decisions that may have been foregone conclusions, they're going to have to change because of everything that's going on. And we're going to have to live with that because there's nothing we can do about it. I feel like Brock Lesnar is going to retain the title because they want Drew to have that crowd reaction. And if there's no crowd to react to him winning the WWE Championship, it's not going to mean anything. I feel like that's going to be one of the major changes. And wow, the People's Wrestling Channel brings up, what are your thoughts about Mania being 2 days and with no live crowd? It's going to be tough. If they were going to do this show anyway, they should have to do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly. Because here's the thing. It's going to be no better than a taped edition of SmackDown back in the day. They have the chance. They have the chance to redo spots. They have a chance to make things look good. And we're not going to really know the difference. Because WrestleMania is supposed to be live. WrestleMania is supposed to be hey, here's all this stuff that's, accidents can happen, but this is supposed to be the grandest stage of them all. This is supposed to be the show of shows. And now we're going to get taped with edited stuff. It's I'm still going to watch. I'm complaining a lot, but I'm still going to watch. But here's the thing, too. None of us have ever been in this type of situation. This is something unprecedented, not just for the wrestling world, but for the world in general. We've never been in a situation where we've had to, quarantine ourselves to avoid a virus. This is, stuff out of Hollywood. This type of stuff. And this is unprecedented for this world to be into because we're used to having, grocery stores and restaurants and, be able to go wherever you want, do whatever you want to do. And now we are limited because people are getting sick from a virus that affects numerous people. I mean, it's rough times. It's it's rough times, but everybody has to adapt. Now that I've bashed WWE for a little bit, I do want to give them credit because while this is taped, while this is unprecedented, while this is probably not the best way they could go about stuff, you have to give them credit simply because in this time of panic, in this time where the sports world, NFL aside, has pretty much shut down, the WWE is still putting out content. And I feel like, and AEW too, AEW is doing that too. The wrestling world is still providing content when no other organizations, entertainment wise, are. We have to give them props for that because they are still providing us with new stuff while we are basically stuck in our homes waiting for this to pass. We have to give them credit for that. They are trying. They are trying to provide us comfort and entertainment in this time of uncertainty. So as much as people may bash on WWE or bash on AEW fanboys or whatever, it's like, take a step back, realize how hard they are working to provide us entertainment during this time, and at least respect that. If you don't like it, at least respect the fact that they are trying anything they can to keep us entertained. Oh, yeah, Ken, I got your question about the virus. I brought that up earlier. And about the live stream earlier, the live stream on my channel, I tried one last week, lasted like half an hour. It might be up there, it might not be. It wasn't much of anything to write home about. Y2 Woody, hey Cherry, good to have you back, bro. Decent hair. You rocking the fade? Yes, I got a haircut last week, actually. I was excited about that because I was going to go live with the new haircut, with the fresh haircut, but it's fine. It doesn't grow that fast. Yeah, I tried to do the live stream last weekend, yeah. 42nd Street Matthew, Greg Cherry draws. You better believe it. Mark Simpson, RKO. Yeah, Orton and Edge, so that should be fun. I guess I never answered what kind of match or what match I wanted to see the most. Orton and Edge will be fun. Honestly, the six-pack challenge for the women's championship, the six-pack elimination match, I'm looking forward to that too, because that one should be good, and perhaps leading to some tension between Sasha and Bayley. We don't know. Hi, Alistair. How you doing? I need the frame rate to be lower. I'm almost getting 3 frames per second. Slow it down to 1 frame per second. What am I doing? Ken, I have a bad feeling that McIntyre's going to fail at winning the WWE title, but if he wins, I'm happy for him. Yeah, but if that happens, they'll probably give him the match at SummerSlam and he'll win. Why are they pre-taping it? Because of the virus, and because maybe they feel like they can correct everything that's wrong before they air it, and they'll just have people in the editing booth, and they'll have plenty of time to do it. They're supposed to record it like either later this week or early next week. I really don't know if that's the direction they're going, but they said they're taping a bunch of stuff in the next week, not just for this week's programming, but for next week as well. It's really uncertain times. Mark Simpson, where you been, Greg? Busy. I mean, before this quarantine, was leaving my house every weekend, and nights too. I've been insanely busy, but hopefully hopefully even after the quarantine, I get a little less busy. You know. 42nd Street Matthew. AEW is smart to push back their blood and guts match to a later date. Something like that deserves an audience. Yeah, you kind of have to do a match like that in front of an audience. Um, I agree that pushing their match back was a good idea. Cherry Mark, EC3 is more over than WrestleMania 36. At this point, I don't know. Um, Ken, what if the Corona is still going and still no fans? Oh, that's from Matthew. Huge EC3 mark. They didn't put a definitive date on it. Yeah, they just said that it's going to happen in the future. I feel like they should save that for Double or Nothing, if in fact that still goes on. I'm hoping this is that the coronavirus thing is gone by like mid-April, late April at the latest. Um, yeah, I really have. Um, Ken terminated by Google. I want to hear Cherry trash on this year's WrestleMania host. Why this Rob dude? Okay. You want to hear me trash Rob Gronkowski? Yes, I will absolutely do that because New England, who didn't even make the Super Bowl this year, makes me happy. And also, Tom Brady's last pass as a New England Patriot was a pick six to the Titans. That makes me laugh too. But Rob Gronkowski is a total tool. And they turn Mojo face because of this. I fear it's going to lead to a Mojo push. And I'm like, no, please no. Why does he have to win the tag titles with Gronk when he couldn't do it with Ryder? Come on. Just no. I don't care about Gronkowski being anywhere near a ring. If he's an actual talented wrestler, fine. If he puts on great matches, fine. I'll get over it. But for right now, it's like he looked like a total tool during his entrance on SmackDown. And he's gonna host WrestleMania. Of all the WrestleManias, he'd probably get booed out of the freaking building. Being in Florida, being in Tampa, which pretty close to Miami, but they would probably boot Gronkowski out of the building because he's a tool bag. NWA Power canceled their shows too. I mean, I don't. Has anyone heard anything about Ring of Honor? Have they done anything? I haven't seen like any news on them whatsoever. Alistair, who do you think is doing better, AEW or WWE? As far as what? Doing better with what? Just doing better product or better? That's a very general question. Darius Jefferson, do you think the coronavirus is really as dangerous as they say it is, or is there something more going on that they're not telling us? I mean, political conspiracy theories aside, again, I'm not too concerned about it until it affects somebody I'm close to. Personally, that might sound selfish, but I'm just abiding by the rules and waiting till we can resume normal society. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. I think some people got this virus back in November and December. It's been going around for 4 or 5 months. That's possible too. Not sure when people would have started getting it, but it wasn't like a big deal till the last month or so. Chris King, AEW is more entertaining than WWE. You know, I really wish I had the opportunity to watch more AEW. I mean, I might now that we're all in quarantine, but what did that say? I got a lot of comments. I'm a little back on them. So, I do want to bring this up, and then I'll get back into the comments. The Wheel of Tencent. Haven't done this for a while, but you can win a t-shirt from my Teespring store because my Pro Wrestling Tees store shut down because I wasn't selling anything for like months on end. Karaoke. You can get me to sing terribly, and it's funny. Ha. Entrances. Everybody knows what that is. Everybody knows I do wrestler entrances. Let's see. Dance break. I dance. Not as awful as my singing. Truth time. I think I changed truth time to. Well, I can redo truth time. That's fine. Entrances. Road stories. Road stories is the one because I think I covered pretty much all my road stories the last time. I do impressions, like wrestler impressions now. And I see a super chat. Ken Terminator Google. $5. Cherry, thank you for crapping on this prop football douche. I went ahead to flame broiler, so I hope your stream lasts 1 or 2 hours. Well, hey, I'm going to tell you what, Ken. You sent in $10 total between your two. So I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to give you a spin. I hope you're still watching. I'm going to give you your spin and see what happens. So here we go. Karaoke. It was right on the edge, right on this side. So I had to look at it really close. Okay, so I'm going to look for a song on the tubes of you, as Broken Matt Hardy might call it, and see what I can sing here. It doesn't have to be a popular song, and I actually choose the song, Ken, because I know what I can sing. Let's see what I have here. Oh, over here. They redid YouTube since the last time I karaoke songs. There we go. I'm gonna have to turn this up. What do I want to sing? I know what I want to sing. Anyone ever hear the song Through Glass by Stone Sour? I don't know if I've done that on here before or not. But it's definitely a good song. Sang it yesterday, actually. And as the word turns, what's the point of this stream? Are we talking wrestling or just a guy spinning the wheel for donation? We talk wrestling, and I provide entertainment to everybody. So you're free to donate if you want. You don't have to. I talk wrestling for a lot of it. I talk wrestling for the first half hour before we started into the spins. But it's a little bit of a gimmick for me. The Wheel of Pensen. It's something different than everybody else provides on their streams because you can get wrestling discussion, but I like to mix it up a little. I like to provide entertainment to the masses. So that's what happens. All right. So I have the song pulled up. Let me take another drink of my water. My wife designed this cup for me with a Mario 1-up because I'm a big Mario fan. And yes, I have a Switch and Super Mario Maker 2, in case any of you were wondering. So here we go. Here we go with my terrible singing. Hopefully you don't hear this twice, because I'm playing it through my TV, and you'll probably hear it through whatever. I'm looking at you through the glass, don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like forever, but no one ever tells you that forever feels like home, sitting all alone inside your head. How do you feel? That is the question. But often you don't expect an easy answer. And something like a soul becomes initialized and folded up like paper towels and little notes. You can't expect a bit of hope. So while you're outside looking in, describing what you see, remember what you're staring at, it's me. Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever. And no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. How much is real? So much to question. An epidemic of the mannequins, contaminating everything, fucking from the home. It never did right from the start. Just listen to the noises before you tell yourself it's just a different scene. Remember, it's just different from what you see. Looking at you through the glass, don't know how much time has passed. No one knows that it feels like forever. No one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. No one knows that it feels like forever. No one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. And it's the stars that shine for you. And it's the stars that light you. Don't know how much time has passed. Oh God, it feels like forever. And no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. Cause I'm looking at you through the glass. Don't know how much time has passed. All I know is that it feels like forever. But no one ever tells you that forever feels like home. Sitting all alone inside your head. And it's the stars that shine through you. And it's the stars that light you. And it's the stars that shine through you. And it's the stars that light you. Oh, the stars that light you. Hope I did that song justice. I feel like I was missing some verses. So, oh boy. Again, I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I never advertised that I was. So there you go. So where were we? Ken says, my day is when Cherry shits on Rob Gronkowski. Hey, you don't have to, it's not a stretch for me to do that to any member of the Patriots. So there you go. Or former member. Shout out to Mrs. Cherry. Yeah, I'll let her know that she was shouted out. Cherry Mark. Elias? Probably not. Not that good. Jeremy, what's up, man? How you doing? just finished singing kind of terribly. Um, Danny310, sup, bro? What's up? How you doing? Michael Gonzalez, that's pretty good. Well, thank you. I tried. It's not as high up as other songs. Uh, People's Wrestling Channel, thanks, DVD Freak. Yeah, of course Lesnar won't be there if they do it live. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's why they have to do it then. Because you can't do it live without your freaking WWE champion. Can you imagine the WWE champion not being at WrestleMania? Maybe that's why they're doing it. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. What 12-year section of WrestleMania is your favorite? 1 to 12, 13 to 24, or 25 to 36? Who? Probably 13 to 24 for me. 13 had Bret and Austin, which I actually just watched the Broken Skull sessions with Bret Hart. You should check it out if you haven't yet. 14 was good. 15 was decent. 16 was strange, but not bad. 17, best WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania 18 had some moments, good moments. WrestleMania 19, second greatest WrestleMania of all time. WrestleMania 20 was awesome. 21 was great until the last 3 matches. 22 was fun. 23, eh. And 24 was pretty good. So that would probably be it, because 25 was a 2-match show. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Jeff versus Matt. 26, I'm going to be honest with you, I still have not seen 26 the whole way through. It's the only WrestleMania in recent memory that I have not sat down and watched every match. 27 was a 1-match show. 28, I was there live, so I'm kind of biased. 29 was admittedly pretty terrible. 30 was awesome. 31 was awesome. 32 began the marathons that we had. Here's the thing with the marathon manias. Maybe it's a good thing that this is the year that they're testing out the 2-day WrestleMania thing, because you probably don't even need TakeOver. Just put your NXT stars on WrestleMania. Problem solved. Because why have TakeOver for 3 hours and then have WrestleMania for 7? Just split it up like 4 or 5 hours a piece. Get your NXT stars on Mania, and make sure you. I wonder if your tickets are good for both nights though. Like if they do WrestleMania 37, like a 2-day event, if tickets are going to be good for both days, or if you have to buy a ticket for day 1 and day 2, that would be kind of shit. If you had to buy tickets for day 1 and day 2, you should be able to just buy a ticket for WrestleMania, be able to go both days. Just an opinion. The DVD Freak, will we get more WTC eventually? It's funny you bring that up. So I was recording with Jeff yesterday for Wrestling Rewind, which, check out the Jeff Meacham podcast, because I've been doing that recently as opposed to doing video shows. And we talked about restarting WTC, because there have been a few people interested to challenge me for the championship, which I've now had for over 2 years. So hopefully we'll get it done soon. It just depends on everybody's availability, when we can film, and all that fun stuff. Lucha Libre Gaming Guy, how you doing, Greg? Doing pretty good. Getting to rest my vocal cords a little bit after singing a little bit of Stone Sour. Cherry Mark, what's the best Owen Hart match you've seen? The one with Bret was classic. Which one? Which one with Bret? The WrestleMania 10 match or the cage match at SummerSlam? Because they were both epic. Owen and Bret, such a great rivalry. And such great wrestling matches that still hold up to this day, even 25 years, 26 years later. If you have not seen Owen Hart versus Bret Hart at either WrestleMania 10 or SummerSlam 1994, check them both out. You really should. The This Guy Experience, long time no see. What's up? Yeah, it has been a long time. I'm glad to be back on the channel. Cherry Mark, kind of bummed out TakeOver won't happen, so no Finn Balor versus Walter. Not yet. The build-up will still be there. Walter will have the title for over a year, the UK title, but it is what it is. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. I'll jump in on some wrestling trivia challenge if it's open to the public, unlike my city. Yeah, I mean, get a hold of Jeff. Jeff's the one hosting the show. He takes care of setting everything up. He's like getting an MRI or something done today, so he's kind of out of it. But yeah, get a hold of Jeff on Twitter or Instagram, one of those. Send him a message, say, hey, I'd be interested in doing WTC. When are you like available? Or he'll check when you're available, or whatever the case may be. Getting availability for 3 people to film is really tough, especially when I work a full-time job, so like 40 hours a week is already off the table. And you know, it's tough to find time, especially with different time zones and who's awake and whatnot. That's why it's hard for European challengers. And I know David's a former champion. I know we've had a couple people from Europe challenge as well. And I think we had somebody from Australia on the first season challenge as well. But yeah, send Jeff a message. Say you're interested in participating in Wrestling Trivia Challenge, and we'll set up a time eventually. I would like to bring it back because, like I said, I've gone and done other trivia shows, won their championships, so Cherry 2 Belts is happening. But yeah, I would like to bring back Wrestling Trivia Challenge because it's been almost a year since I've done the No DQ Trivia Challenge. But like I said, I'm probably going to be in the process here of defending my other championship for the Mark World Order podcast. So that'll probably happen in the next couple weeks here. Michael Gonzalez, top 5 Undertaker WrestleMania matches. Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. Triple H at WrestleMania 28. Triple H at WrestleMania 27. I'm really trying to think. Randy Orton at WrestleMania 21. And I might get some flack for this one, but I don't even care. Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 32. I love Shane McMahon. Always have. And I enjoyed that Hell in a Cell match. So if Shane would have beat The Undertaker, I would have been okay. People would have been freaking out about, how does Shane McMahon, of all people, beat The Undertaker? I would have been fine with it. But I'm weird. Cherry Mark, favorite Jinder Mahal match? Backlash 2017 when he won the title. Honestly, like that is such a moment that was like complete shock to everybody. I wonder if it would be any easier if I like look through the comments on my phone instead of using up some bandwidth doing this. So 1 second. Might be easier to scroll through comments. So, there we go. All right. So yeah. So what do you guys think? What else would you like to see? What would you like to see at this year's WrestleMania? Obviously, fans would be one thing. But what would you like to see? Let me know in the comments. Also, you saw the first spin happen at karaoke. Good old karaoke. If you want to see me do a wrestler's entrance, if you want to see me dance like an idiot, if you want to hear me do my Macho Man impression about whatever topic you want, if you want to hear me tell the truth about anything, and it could be anything personal or whatever the case may be. Or if you'd like to win a T-shirt from my Teespring store, $10 donation. T-shirts are $20, so you actually win out with a $10 donation. And obviously, if you donate more than $10, if you donate 20, you get 2 spins. If you donate 30, you get 3 spins. I don't job you out of how much money you donate. I have done the 3 spins. I've done multiple spins before. Cherry Mark, favorite Batista match? Whew. Honestly, one of my favorites was the main event of WrestleMania 30. The triple threat with him, Daniel Bryan, and Randy Orton. That was a good one. I enjoyed last year's match against Triple H. I hate to say it. I feel like Batista hasn't put on a ton of classic matches. I like Batista. I really do. Like, he's very good at what he does. And he's killing it in Hollywood. I just can't think of a bunch of classic Batista matches. And that sucks because I'm like racking my brain. It's like, because there were times he was like out for a long period of time. I don't know. Did this guy experience? Wait, WrestleMania is still happening? Yeah, WrestleMania is still happening. As far as it's supposed to be taped. And I had an entire rant about that earlier. Cherry Mark, Batista and Triple H sucked at 21. Yeah, I covered that too when I was talking about WrestleMania 21. The last 3 matches of that show sucked. Batista and Triple H sucked. Cena and JBL really sucked. And the sumo match, which, how did that get third to the main event? Honestly, should have been like second on the card. But Money in the Bank was second on the card, I think. Realistically, after Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle, the show tanked. Really, and everything before that, Sans, Christy Hemme, and Trish Stratus, was good. And then everything after that was garbage. So that's my opinion. Greg, only way I watch Mania is if Punk hits the GTS on Reigns after he beats Goldberg. Well, you have to watch to see if that happens. I heavily doubt that they would waste a CM Punk in-ring return with no crowd. I heavily doubt that. I can't see that happening at all. I doubt. I think CM Punk would think that was stupid too. So I doubt he'd do it. If CM Punk were to ever come back to the WWE, it realistically should be in the Royal Rumble. Because look at the insane response that Edge got. I mean, he got an insane response. That crowd went nuts. My friend Chris went viral over it, over his reaction in the stadium. Chris Ross, Dead End Old. Go check out his stuff. Jerry Mark, Goldberg and Reigns would have got booed out of Mania. Good thing no crowd. Probably. And Goldberg's probably just going to drop the title to Reigns anyway. There's no reason for him to hold the title any longer. There's no reason for him to hold the title at all. But you know what? Maybe it was the best thing for the Fiend. As weird as it sounds, getting almost squashed by Goldberg. Because he can probably recover from that more than he would have if he would have lost to Roman. My opinion. 2682 Shark. What's going on with AEW this week? Well, I saw Cody Rhodes has a match against. Who does he have? Got a text. Jimmy Jacobs, I think. Or Jimmy Havoc. Not Jimmy Jacobs. My bad. Jimmy Havoc. So there's at least going to be some wrestling on AEW this week. They're not doing the blood and guts match until there's a crowd. So good on them. Smart move. But the only problem with that is that means they have to drag out the Inner Circle versus the baby phases. The Inner Circle versus the Elite, essentially. For a couple more weeks, month, 2 months, till Double or Nothing. They might as well just save the match till Double or Nothing. I'm pretty sure I said that before. Darius Jefferson, what more could CM Punk do in WWE? The roster is lame. I'm sure he could do something. Because there's still guys in there that Punk hasn't worked with. Maybe he shows up in NXT. Maybe CM Punk versus Adam Cole was a match that made events a takeover or something. CM Punk probably wants to get back in for the wrestling purpose of everything. Or maybe he just waits until Vince McMahon is not involved with the company anymore. Because I'm sure, like, even though him and Triple H have some past heat, that Hunter would move past it and be like, hey, yeah, you're good for our business, so you won't. I don't know. I don't know how that would work. 42nd Street Matthew. AEW is still going to be live from Daly's Palace with no crowd. They only push back blood and guts. Yeah. Which is fine. So they have their own venue just like WWE has the Performance Center. So shows will still be happening. Cherry Mark only makes sense if Fiend goes over Cena, so Fiend gets his win back without saying he's buried. If Cena beats the Fiend again, Bray Wyatt might as well just leave the company. Because losing back-to-back big matches like that, and you have to realize, the Fiend character hasn't even been around a full year yet. If you want to get this character super over, which I thought it was back at SummerSlam when he actually debuted in the ring as the Fiend, you have to let that character be dominant. If you just have him lose his big matches like he was as the leader of the Wyatt family, what more? You can't do anything else with him. If he's going to be that jobber, then nobody's going to be scared of him. You know? 2682 Shark. I don't think there will be any crowds for a very long time. That's very possible. I'm hoping by like May timeframe that we're back to normal. I know I said April, but May is probably a little more realistic. 42nd Street Matthew. I think the Inner Circle versus the Elite thing came kind of suddenly anyway. I think the extra time will be good for the feud. I do too, because you can give it proper build then. And if you give the feud proper build and like let it develop over time, then when you get to a crowd, they're going to want to see that. And it's basically war games. Like actual war games. With a cage, with a roof over the top, and you have to surrender. So it's like traditional war games, not the war games NXT does. That's like WCW 98 war games. Like this is like classic NWA war games. Cherry Mark. Could Otis be a big star if getting a singles push or Montez Ford? Otis probably will be a bigger singles star once he's on his own. Nothing against Tucker, but like Otis is the one with the personality. Otis is the one with, like, he's the more gimmicky of the two. And I feel like Tucker's just like the straight man of the group. He's like Otis's sidekick almost. And Montez Ford, I like Montez Ford. I like both the Street Profits a lot, actually. I'm glad they're the tag team champions. Um, but if it ever came down to Montez Ford getting a singles push, it'd probably be Angelo Dawkins to turn heel if they decide to go that route. Um, I like Montez Ford. He's ridiculously charismatic, super athletic. I hope he would become a star. I really do. If anybody could become a star that's in the tag team division right now, Montez Ford should be it. 42nd Street, Matthew. Yes, War Games needs a roof on the cage. I don't know why they don't do the roof on the cage with NXT. Probably because they want all those big spots off the cage. It's like, okay, you can tell a story without needing to kill yourself off the top of a cage. But if you want the high spots, get the high spots, whatever. Personal opinion. And they're going to have to figure out somebody else to go in the male War Games. Because you figure Undisputed Era has been in all three of them, of the men's War Games matches. And yes, that includes Roderick Strong, even though he wasn't part of the team yet. But eventually they'll have to build to a War Games that doesn't feature the Undisputed Era. Eventually. Whether that happens this year or next, eventually they're going to have to do a War Games without the UE. All right. So, what else is going on? What else are people doing today? Cherry Mark, rank the heels from each brand. Sami Callihan, MJF, Orton, or heel Ciampa. Which was best heel? I would put heel Ciampa first, and then MJF, and then probably Orton and Sami Callihan in that order. Only reason I put Sami Callihan last, it's not because I haven't seen a ton of Impact, but you have to realize when Orton is like in his zone as a heel, when he's focused, it's kind of hard to top him. I only put MJF over him because MJF has a seriously punchable face. And it's like, if you just look like a slime ball and you can constantly act like a slime ball, even when you're not out, like even when you're not on TV and you're a complete slime ball to everybody, then yeah, I mean, you're definitely a huge heel. But I give it to Ciampa just because his work in 2017, 2018, and early 2019 as a heel. That was like some of the biggest heel reactions I've ever heard. And it was like, it made him and Johnny Gargano that much bigger of stars. So I give them both props. And it'll be interesting to see, now that the roles are reversed, how they treat Gargano as the heel and Ciampa as the face. They're still going to have amazing matches, but now it's going to be Gargano using the cheap tactics. And they have to save that one for a crowd. They have to save Gargano and Ciampa for a crowd. As tempting as it would be to do an empty arena, no disqualification, falls count anywhere match with them, and trust me, that is tempting. You have to wait for a crowd. You have to wait for a takeover for it, because this feud has been going on and off for 3 years. You don't see that much nowadays. But this is a deep, deep story. The last feud I remember going this long, and I don't even think it went this long, was Shawn Michaels and Triple H from 2002 to 2004. So no, it was only 2 years. But every time they fought, you knew that they wanted to rip each other apart. If WWE did a World War III Battle Royal, who's in it and who wins? Well, 60 guys would be in it. You know, that they would need to do the 3 rings thing. And it would really depend on what's on the line. If it was a championship match, you'd probably give it to one of the main eventers or somebody up and coming. It'd be cheap to be like, oh, Cesaro. It's like Cesaro is not in a position on the card to get that title match. It sucks because Cesaro is a damn good worker. But he can't cut a promo to save his life. And he'll tell you that. So, I feel like if you put Cesaro with somebody who knew how to talk, and I don't mean Paul Heyman because they tried that. I mean, like, you need somebody who can speak for him, get heat for him, and, like, make him hated. Because you have to get Cesaro to be hated. You have to get people to care to hate Cesaro. But a lot of people don't because they're like, oh, he's such a great wrestler. He's such a great wrestler. It's like, you need to get him heat. So as far as who would have win, I don't know. Kevin Owens? Just like throwing that out there as a possibility. Do you think they should end Ciampa and Gargano and Hell in a Cell for last match? And you also said Gargano and Ciampa as Cena versus Orton 2.0. I disagree. Of course, Cena and Orton lasted like freaking 7 years. But the fact is, like, after their first couple matches, and they had like 3 or 4 matches. Yeah, they had like 4 straight pay-per-view title matches against each other. Cena and Orton did in 2009. I was at one of them. Actually, I think it was at the last one because Cena won the title and then defended it successfully in Survivor Series and then lost it to Sheamus. It was like Cena, Orton, Cena, Orton, Cena, Orton, Cena, Orton, which I think that's what drove so many people nuts when Royal Rumble came back around and it was Cena Orton again for the title. It's like, my gosh. We've seen this match 37,642 times already. Why do we need to see it again for the title? And then they kept doing it. Like they did again, like later that year in Hell in a Cell. It's like, we've already seen them in Hell in a Cell too. But as far as if Gargano and Ciampa need Hell in a Cell, do you bring Hell in a Cell to NXT? Like, what other match could they do? They've done the street fight. They've done Last Man Standing. I don't know if I want to see them in an Iron Man match. I love them both, but I don't know if I want to see them in an Iron Man match because that's not really a grudge type match. I would probably want to see them in like a 3 Stages of Hell match. Kind of like what Gargano did with Cole. I kind of wish they wouldn't have wasted that on Gargano Cole twice. But that's what I would do with them. I'd probably do 3 Stages of Hell. The build to Sting and Hogan at Starrcade 97 was 18 months, I believe, and then continued beyond into 98. The problem with the build to Sting and Hogan was that it was built up for so long that Sting had to win. And he did. But the way that it happened, like, made the way that entire match went down made it look like Hogan, heel Hollywood Hogan, who everybody hated, looked like he got screwed. And then, not even 2 weeks later, they stripped Sting of the title. They built to that match for a year and a half to have a screwy finish and strip Sting of the title. No wonder the company went in the complete shitter afterwards. Starrcade 97 was the beginning of the end of WCW. Long before Russo got there, decisions like that, and Starrcade 2 years in a row, 98 also, was hot garbage. Because you had Nash and Goldberg's streak, and then the finger poke of doom less than 2 weeks later. Like, no wonder they went out of business. They were so bad at making long-term booking decisions. The This Guy Experience, $2 super chat. Fiend turned Roman Reigns into the Demon Dog. That would be interesting. That would definitely be interesting. I would like to see, because, I mean, other than Goldberg, because Goldberg beat him, the Fiend has changed everybody he's faced. So if he faced Roman and turned Roman heel, that would definitely be an interesting change. Because Roman hasn't been heel since the days of the Shield, the original days of the Shield. "42nd Street Matthew, the way Sting won was stupid." Yes, it was. Because they completely ripped off the Montreal Screwjob. Chris Mace, "Hey Greg at work, glad to catch you live. Would like to ask if I could ever interview you on my channel about your journey into independent wrestling." You sure can. Yeah, just let me know when. It won't be a long story, but it'll be what it is. Cherry Mark, "They built Rock and Cena longer. Rock Cena 2 was better than their first match." I disagree. I was also there for their first match, so I felt like the WrestleMania 28 match was way better than the WrestleMania 29 match. Because at least with 28, you did not know who was going to win. With 29, you knew for sure Cena was winning. There was no way Rock was winning at 29. Absolutely no way. And 28 at least gave you sides to root for. T-Fame was on Team Cena. I was on Team Rock. 42nd Street Matthew, "After that sort of build, Sting should dominate Hogan through the whole match. Instead, Hogan dominated almost the entire match." Well, the thing is, like, you have to get the heel heat. So I don't know about that one. I mean, Hogan dominating and then Sting doing like a babyface comeback. It was a weird match. It was such a disappointing end to the main event for what should have been the biggest show in WCW history. The This Guy Experience, "I'll challenge for the WTC." Oh, okay. Throw your name in the hat. That's fine. Send a message to Jeff and let him know when you're available to film. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast, "Who puts on a better match? 2001 The Rock versus 78 Andre the Giant. 91 Hogan versus 2000 Kurt Angle. 94 Bret Hart versus 20 Seth Rollins. Or 96 HBK versus 11 CM Punk." I'm amazed you went with Hogan versus Angle because we've actually seen that in 2002 instead of Angle Bret. I'd probably go with HBK versus Punk out of all of those. Honestly. Bret and Seth might put on a great match. Um, Hogan and Angle would probably be exactly what Hogan or Angle and Big Show was from Backlash 2000. But The Rock versus Andre would be an interesting dynamic. That one I'd have to see. Cherry Mark, I feel like Braun should have held the Intercontinental title until Lars Sullivan returned and dethroned Braun to be the new monster. I don't even know if Lars Sullivan is going to return. He's been injured for the last almost year, and he found out a lot about his online past. I'll leave it at that. The This Guy Experience. Why do I like Cena a little more than I did 5 years ago? But I hate his movie career. Because Cena's not being shoved down our throats. that could be a possible reason. So, trying to drink water. I have like something in my throat. So what else is going on? I'm hoping to do these more often. And unfortunately, I don't have my Twitter account anymore to advertise and promote this. Cherry Mark, Taker's last match. Cena at Mania 37 or Fiend at Survivor Series 2020? Do we need to see Taker and Cena at Mania again? I don't think so. I feel like his last match should be at Survivor Series. Just because it'll be 30 years of Taker, and then he can go out that way instead of losing at WrestleMania. TJS retracted a message, so I didn't see what that was. Unless he's super chatting it, which is cool. Come on, Greg. Cena and Taker last year wasn't even a match. Well, that was also 2 years ago. I know it wasn't a match, but technically the 3 minutes they had was basically Taker whipping Cena's ass for everything he said. I don't see that that's going to happen with AJ either. But I doubt Taker's last match will be Cena. I really do. I if it's going to be anybody at WrestleMania, I don't see why it would need to be Cena. Because what's Cena got back? Cena's basically almost done as a wrestler too. So what are two guys who are on their way out? What's that going to do for anybody other than like take up a spot on the card? So I would rather have him retire Survivor Series. Does WWE make this year's SummerSlam the biggest one yet to make up for the last lackluster venue of WrestleMania? They are probably going to promote SummerSlam as heavily as they promote WrestleMania. It's really their own fault for saying that Super Showdown last year was going to be bigger than WrestleMania. It's like, come on. No, it's not. No, it's really not. Never promote a show as bigger than WrestleMania. Ever again. Especially that clusterfuck. Never, ever promote a Saudi show as bigger than WrestleMania. Unless all the matches deliver. And to this day, there hasn't been a Saudi show where all the matches delivered. To this day. They've had how many of them? 5 now? Might be more than that. It's probably 5. Could you see Aleister Black versus Drew McIntyre? Alistair versus Drew would be an interesting match. I don't know how you would get there with both of them being baby faces. Um, yeah, I don't know how you would get there, but it would probably be a good match. You just have to figure out the story to get there. You think they'll try and move SummerSlam to Tampa Bay next year? I doubt it. I mean, why would you give them SummerSlam when they'll probably have the SummerSlam venue announced? I wish they bring it back to Pittsburgh, honestly, to make up for '95. Although I did get to see the ladder match in '95, so it wasn't all bad. Aleister Black versus Drew McIntyre will be Raw's main event at SummerSlam this year. Um, you got to build Aleister Black for more than that, in my opinion. Because while Aleister Black is, like, it's not undefeated on the roster. In like non-gauntlet matches, he's undefeated. But I would build up Aleister for at least another year before you thrust him into the main event. Should they have just postponed? Why not take an off season? If there was any time to ever take an off season for the wrestlers to recover, it would be now. The problem with it is, I feel like, and I don't know how fair this is, that this would violate some sort of contract WWE has with USA and Fox. Because you figure the Fox deal is still in its infancy, which sucks because this is not WWE's fault, obviously. WrestleMania probably could have been postponed, but then you'd have to drag out some of these storylines for months because you'd have to find a replacement venue. You would have to rearrange your pay-per-view schedule. You'd have to do all that stuff. And they talked about doing WrestleMania at the Garden, which would have been awesome. That I would have supported. The WWE is in such a terrible position with this that they really didn't. Did they have an alternative? Like, you could question it. It's like, oh, they should have done this. It's not as easy as like, hey, we can just move the venue. It's not like me saying, hey, we're going to move the live stream over to my channel. Like, it's not that simple. There's so many logistics that take place that people don't think about. It's people think business decisions this monumental can change like that. You don't just go into a boardroom and say, hey, we're going to move WrestleMania. Okay, cool. And then everything's hunky-dory and you just move WrestleMania. It doesn't work that way. There's so many things that need to go into the preparation of WrestleMania that I don't know if they really had the option to move it to a later date because those venues might not have been available. You might not have been able to do it in Tampa even. But was it the right move? Time will tell. For the circumstances, WWE doesn't really have a choice. They have to move on with the stuff they advertised. Is it going to be as good as it would with fans? Maybe not. But we will still get to watch it. Maybe they could pipe in crowd noise from the SmackDown days into the Performance Center or something. Just make it feel important. The fact that they light it the way they do also drives me nuts. It's like, we know it's an empty arena. Just, I don't know. What do you think WWE should do to make it up for everyone in Tampa now that WrestleMania won't take place there? That's not WWE's fault. They shouldn't have to do anything to make it up to the people of Tampa. To the people that bought tickets, they'll probably give refunds, but they don't owe the city anything because the city was going to shut them down anyway. And then as soon as WWE said, "Oh, we're moving it to the Performance Center," Tampa was like, "Oh, we don't want to strain our relationship." They're covering their ass, is what they're doing. Business is a tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing. WWE should just reschedule Mania. I wanted to mark out the false finishes, entrances, returns with fans. Now it won't be as watchable. I wanted to see the entrances this year. Like I said, the WWE is in a tough spot. Do you postpone WrestleMania, drag out these storylines for months, give everybody the time off while this thing is uncertain? Because everybody thinks they're just going to be back to the way they were in like a month or two. This pandemic might just shut everything down for the rest of the year. I don't want to instill that fear in anyone because I don't know. I'm just speculating. But if things are shut down for long, lengthy periods of time, who knows what's going to happen? This may be the way business has to be done for the foreseeable future. And we kind of have to deal with that. If we want wrestling at all, wouldn't you take some wrestling over none at all? Yeah, you have the network. But if you want something new, you won't be able to get new. That's what I'm saying. They're in a tough spot. AEW is doing the same thing. They're running shows from an empty building. Does it work for them? Yeah. They're not going to use pyro or anything because why spend the money if, nobody's going to be there? Can't give the fans the full experience because the pyro's for the fans. The pyro's not for like the presentation of the show or anything. The pyro's for the fans to like excite everybody, get everybody pumped. So using pyro when nobody's there is kind of stupid and kind of a waste of money. So there's that. So it's not as simple as, like I said, it's not as simple as snapping your fingers and making a change and everybody being okay with it and being like, oh yeah, no, we'll deal with that. Okay, we're good with that, boss. It's not a 30-second conversation. This is like week-long meetings, weeks, probably multiple weeks of discussion and be like, hey, we need to call everybody here. We need to say, hey, can we move the venue to here for WrestleMania? Because let's face it, with a smaller arena or a smaller venue, because chances are you'd have to do it in like, well, if you moved it to the summer, I guess you could still do it in a stadium because it'd be super warm. But I mean, I guess it'd be no different than performing in Saudi Arabia in over 100-degree heat. But it's not that easy of a decision to make. So to take WrestleMania, will it suck without fans? I don't know if it'll suck, but it won't be the same. We have to give it a chance. Because if we go into it thinking, oh, this is going to be the worst wrestling show in the world, it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy because you're going to look for reasons for it to be the worst wrestling show in the world. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. You might see like an awesome match. Will it be different because there's no crowd reaction? Yes, but you can tell stories with no crowd. The Rock and Mankind did it in 1999, and they did it to perfection. So don't give it up. Give them a chance. Because stories can be told without needing the fans there. Cherry Mark, do you think we will ever see Cody and Vince in cahoots to a merge pay-per-view, AEW versus WWE? Cody versus Gargano, Velveteen Dream versus Orange Cassidy, Miz versus MJF. I don't know. I would like to see a WWE versus AEW show. Whether or not they would do it, they would have to do it in a way where one side does not look stronger than the other. I mean, eventually, if they did like the Invasion pay-per-view and like you split the decisions the whole way through, and then whoever wins the main event wins the night, eventually you'd have something like that. And then I would address that on the next Raw or Dynamite or something like that and be like, hey, We won, congratulations, and we're gonna take over the wrestling world. Or if AEW lost, be like, hey, you guys sucked. Like, you need to do better, or like motivate them. Be like, we still believe we're the best wrestling in the world. Something like that. You would have to do a show where both companies benefit. Because if you bury one company, it doesn't make either one look better. You have to work together to make the best show possible. Be unbiased, book the best card you can, and go from there. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. Cut me a 2-minute promo why you're the greatest wrestling trivia challenge guru, and none of us in this chat room will even sniff the championship belt. Well, as the greatest wrestling trivia mind of all time, which I proved last year by defeating Jeff Meacham in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Maybe we haven't done the No DQ Wrestling Trivia Challenge because I got bored of the lack of competition, so I decided to go off to the Mark World Order podcast and challenge their undefeated, unstoppable champion, one Davey Dangerously. And then I go through the tournament, I win so easily that I could have just laid back and slept for the final rounds of those matches and still won. Then I face the undefeated, unstoppable champion, King Dangerously. And I dethrone him, becoming the first person to ever beat him. The first person to dethrone him, and I take charge, and I become Cherry 2 belts. I am the greatest wrestling trivia mind of all time. I have told people that, and I've gone out and proved to people that. So let me ask you something. Why do you want to step up to me? Is it just to get the glory? Say, hey, I challenge for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship. Because it sure as hell won't be, I won the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship, because that's mine. I am the champion for a reason. I have been champion since 2018. Nobody has stopped me. And nobody's going to stop me. I will be champion in 2021, 2022, 2023. Keep naming years. I will be champion. And that's the way it is, because I'm a sensation, baby. So there you go. 42nd Street Matthew says, AEW actually did have Pyro Wednesday. Okay, well, that's on them. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it's Tony Khan's money. He does whatever he wants. I personally wouldn't do it. They should produce the WrestleMania matches in a movie style like they did in The Wrestler. They might as well make it like an immersive experience that you feel like it's The Wrestler, or it's like a Rocky movie or something, that you're really invested in it. But I'd also have like some crew members like be in the audience so you could cheer for them, be like, yeah, or like boo, or something I don't know. Let's see. Chris Mace, do you think they will do an independent show in the U.S. Similar to the one Wrestle Talk did to help independent wrestlers that are out of work right now? Maybe. I know like John Moxley is trying to help out independent promotions and stuff like that can't pay the wrestlers. So that's cool. But chances are a lot of these independent wrestlers have other jobs, because unless you're a big name, indie wrestling doesn't pay worth a damn. Just so you know. Like when I was in independent wrestling, I wasn't exactly making like 6 figures. If I was, don't you think I'd still be there? But that's what I'm saying. They probably have other careers. Is it rough on them not getting those paychecks from wrestling promotions? Sure. But unless it's their job, unless it's their full-time job, they're not being affected that much. 42nd Street Matthew, even Invasion to get the promotion versus promotion thing right. They split the match outcomes evenly, but WCW looked like schmucks the whole time. Yeah, and that's the problem with doing it under the WWE banner, doing the WWF versus WCW and ECW invasion, because the invasion was so one-sided. It's like, here, for the WWF, you have The Rock, you have The Undertaker, you have Kane, you have Chris Jericho, you have The Big Show. And for WCW, you have Billy Kidman, Sean Stasiak, Sean O'Hare. What are we doing? Which, not a knock on Sean O'Hare, rest in peace. I actually like Sean O'Hare, especially his gimmick in 2003, and Billy Kidman was a talented wrestler. So don't get me knocking on. I'm just talking about like placement on the card. Like, you have basically WCW's mid-card division and what's left of ECW challenging the WWF. If you would have had like the Hogans, the Halls, the Nashes, the Goldbergs, the Flairs, if you would have had all of that during the invasion, different story. Maybe. But the fact that you could not get those talents, they should have at least delayed the invasion until those contracts happen. The invasion could have happened at WrestleMania 18. And like, it would be the most talked about WrestleMania of all time, even more so than 17, because it's like, can you believe WCW just invaded WrestleMania 18? But by that point, WCW had already been forgotten since November. So, you know. Report Card Radio challenges me for the No DQ Trivia Championship. Again, send your stuff to Jeff Meacham. He's the host. Masked Ninja 76. Hi, Greg. When do you plan on doing reviews again? Miss ya. I'll do reviews again. I think they record Tuesday nights now, which is my poker night. So that's kind of rough. If it ever comes around where I'm free to do a review, I've been asked a couple times. I've just been busy. When I'm not busy and they're filming, then I'll try to do one. As long as they'll have me. Alberto, I hope you and your family are safe and healthy, Greg Cherry. Yeah, we currently are. So we work from home, so we don't have a lot of human interaction anyway. Report Card Radio. I'm taking that title. That 2018 doesn't count if you don't defend it even once or twice a month. You forget in 2018, I defended it like 10 times in like 2 months. So there's that. Cool Brothers Radio Podcast. Dude, I'm marking out right now. We need this Greg Cherry all the time. You know, that's the part of me I wish I could be involved with wrestling business. I love cutting promos. I love doing it. I just don't have the outlet to do it all the time. And with not doing the trivia challenge, I don't have the opportunity to be that cocky son of a bitch heel that I know I can be. See, I'm doing this right now for the entertainment purposes. I do this because, like, I like talking to you guys about wrestling. I like when you guys send me stuff so I can spin the wheel and sing badly and do entrances and all that fun stuff. Like, I do that for the entertainment purposes. And I do the Wrestling Trivia Challenge shows for the entertainment purposes, too. But there is a lot of pride that goes into being the champion. Like, I hold that being the greatest wrestling trivia mind thing. Like, I hold that candle as like, hey, I always said I wanted to be the best in the world at something. And with this, and with the Mark World Order, like, I feel like I'm actually the best in the world at something. It may not be something that's important to too many people outside the wrestling's bubble, but it's important to me. It means something to me to constantly defend that championship and constantly come out on top. It means a lot, especially after the match with Jeff, the Iron Man match. And you have to understand, we also didn't film for a while because we went through 100 questions, at least, in one episode. So that's another reason. It's like, we damn near ran out of questions to ask. But Jeff has questions. He has, like, at least a few episodes worth of questions. So if you want to submit your stuff to Jeff and get a hold of him and let him know that, hey, I'm willing to face Greg Cherry for the Wrestling Trivia Challenge Championship. We'll get people lined up. It's not a problem. It's just a matter of getting the time to film and being like, hey, we're going to film. We're going to go right now. It's like a half-hour process of filming, doing the questions and episodes and whatnot. Probably less fun for the editing person, but it is what it is. Chris Mace, who is the one person you would want to challenge you for the trivia title? Honestly, I've tried to challenge one Brad Shepard, who is the biggest tool in all of social media for wrestling. But I doubt the less attractive Rosie O'Donnell would want to do it. So, if you follow Brad Shepard, which number one, why? But number two, if you want to tell him that I want to put my championship on the line against him, that he knows where to find me. On Instagram, at PA Sensation. If he believes he knows as much about wrestling as he claims to and he lies about, then yeah, I'll challenge Brad Shepard. But he never responded to me. So, me thinks he's scared because he doesn't know that much. David, bro, when's the last time you even defended that title? It's been almost a year, but we're bringing it back. Do you think WWE will still continue with WWE Draft this year? Probably not. Booker T and DDP were the only top stars that came over from the invasion. Everyone else sat out their Time Warner contracts because Vince wouldn't buy them out. Sitting at home and getting paid. Yeah, the invasion didn't really benefit anybody after all was said and done. Report Card Radio. Here's a piece of trivia. Who fought for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 13? The Sultan faced off against Rocky Maivia. So, there you go. Would you ever consider managing again? If there was an indie promotion like close by that needed a good manager or needed like a good authority figure or something, I would love to do that and cut promos for them. But I'm not exactly like seeking them out right now. So if they sought me out to do it, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. Pay me a little bit and I'll do it. You know. Cherry Mark. Greg Cherry versus Jon Moxley promo battle is money on the mic more entertaining than Heyman and Punk. I'll promo battle with Jon Moxley. Yeah, I'll do it. As long as I don't have to get suplexed on a bed of freaking barbed wire, yeah, I'll do a promo battle with him. Chris Mace. The Iron Man trivia match was amazing. It was brutal, too. And I like passed out on the floor from mental exhaustion after that, going through an hour of that. Ken, what's up, guys? All flame broilers are closed. Oh, that sucks. Cherry Mark. Are Mandy Rose's feet pretty? I don't know. I've never looked at her feet. She has feet? No. Report Card Radio. Nice. Here we go. Here's another. Which superstar botched a promo on Raw and said there were 4 ropes? Cesaro. Probably a reason he doesn't get a push now. Should Mandy Rose become WWE SmackDown Women's Champion? She needs the right push first. Put it. Maybe once the stuff with Otis is done, then maybe she'll get a push towards. It depends on if she's babyface or heel, but. Chris Mace with the $2 super chat. What are your thoughts on David Starr as a wrestler? Um, to be honest, I haven't seen much of his stuff. I know he's very outspoken for being anti WWE. And one second. Oh, hi. Thank you much. Ooh, cookies. Well, this is awesome. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you. Well, these are going to be delicious. Fresh cookies out the oven. That's awesome. Lost my train of thought. Sorry. Distracted by delicious cookies. I appreciate these are peanut butter and chocolate. Or molasses and chocolate or something. No, it's definitely peanut butter. I like it taste. Snap. Crap. Talking too much. Sorry, I'm going to be eating cookies while answering questions. All I know is just really outspoken about WWE, and like, I think he finished up with WXW due to their working relationship with WWE, so he had to leave the promotion. Which he probably did, so he wouldn't get any more shit. But it is what it is. Kurapika, is WWE really going through with WrestleMania, the PC, in 2 weeks with no crowd? Well, there's rumors that they're going to be filming WrestleMania this week. So, and I talked about that earlier. I talked about that at the top of the stream. That it's a very tough situation for them to be put in. But I don't like the idea of them taping WrestleMania. They probably have to because there was a rumor that Brock couldn't get there for Mania. So if we can make one of the tape dates, that's probably what they'll have to do. I don't agree with the decision at all. But that's probably what they're going to do. Michael Gonzalez, any chance Randy Orton breaks Ric Flair's World Championship reign record? I don't know. Because as far as like active full-time wrestlers, Orton is the closest to breaking Flair's and Cena's record. Cena won't challenge for the World Championship probably ever again. He's probably just going to stay tied. Triple H has no reason to get back in the ring again. He's done enough. He's doing all the work for NXT right now, so he's busy. So that leaves Orton as the next closest one with 13. I don't know if he'll break it, though, because he hasn't been in the World Championship picture since 2017 when he lost to Jinder frickin' Mahal. So there's that. I don't think he does. Report Card Radio. Who defeated Taka Michinoku for the Light Heavyweight Championship and at what pay-per-view? Oh, that was like early in the Light Heavyweight Championship. I feel like that was Christian at Judgment Day in your house. I think so. Because then Gilbert beat Christian, and it was a weird thing. Relic, 21-17. How many world titles are there, and do you consider women's titles as world titles? Well, you have the Universal Championship, you have the WWE Championship, and you have the NXT Championship, which I think should be considered a world championship, especially now with it having been defended on multiple continents and with it now being a main brand. So, yeah, I think it should be considered a world championship. Women's championships, I also think, should be considered world championships. Because with the whole women's revolution thing, their championships should be seen as equal stature to the men's. Kind of like UFC Women's World Championship. That's an important championship. So, yeah, I think it should be. So, Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, NXT Women's Champion, AEW World Champion, AEW Women's Champion, Ring of Honor World Champion. Um, I don't know if the Ring of Honor does enough with our women for their women's championship to be considered. I don't even know if they have one, honestly. I haven't followed Ring of Honor in many, many years, so forgive me. Like, the last thing I remember was Christopher Daniels winning the world championship. I know Cody beat him for it, but but yeah, women's championships should be considered world championships. Stevie Mack. Yeah, I heard they were filming 2 different endings for certain matches. That's interesting. I mean, that's actually very smart if they do that. If they film the endings where they have everybody lose, which is going to be very tough for the elimination match, the 6-pack elimination match for the women's title, SmackDown women's title. But for all the one-on-one matches, it's freaking brilliant if they film 2 finishes because they say, oh, well, nobody but the editors will know what the finishes are. That's kind of smart. You got to give them that. Report Card Radio throwing out more trivia to me. Name 6 men that Kane is teamed with to win the tag team titles. Undertaker, Rob Van Dam, The Big Show, Daniel Bryan, X-Pac, give me a second. Big Show, Taker, Daniel Bryan, X-Pac. Oh, the Hurricane. Hurricane was the other one. They're probably shooting 2 different endings to certain matches because Vince changes his mind every 5 minutes. Yeah, so he'll probably have the final say on what gets edited in. But you also have to make it look good, too. Thoughts on Goldberg versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Is what it is. I mean, if it's a hard-hitting match like Goldberg and Lesnar at 33, I'll be fine with it. But it doesn't need to be a whole lot. And Reigns is going to win anyway, so. My wife's cookies are giving me brain food. Fresh out the oven, too. That's awesome. So yeah, Report Card Radio. If you were doubting my wrestling knowledge before, I can't come up with that stuff off the top of my head. Be surprised if Goldberg retains. I would be too, to be completely honest. But I don't think anybody wants that at all. I don't think anybody wants to see Goldberg retain the championship. Okay, Greg, let's see if you get this. Who defeated Batista and Ric Flair for the tag team titles? Are you talking their first reign or are you talking their second reign? Because their first reign was ended by Booker T and Rob Van Dam, and their second reign was ended by Edge and Chris Benoit. Cherry mentioned Brad Shepard. That name sounds familiar. Who's the douche who was a coward to Greg Cherry? Hey, you got it, Ken. It is Brad Shepard. Yeah, because they had the two reigns. I actually, funny enough, I was watching a video the WWE just posted of all Ric Flair's title wins. And they showed his title win at Armageddon with Batista, and then them winning it back from Van Dam and Booker on the draft episode of Raw in 2004. All right, so I'm probably only going to go about another 10 minutes here because I know Aaron is doing the stream today too. Aaron's doing the stream at 7 o'clock Eastern talking about WrestleMania. Ken terminated by Google. Was Brad Shepard the kayfabe representative of UPN? No. Brad Shepard is a reporter for Ringside News who makes up a bunch of stories, has been wildly discredited by wrestlers and by the WWE on Fox account, which is an amazing Twitter account. Who was the 100th person to hold the Intercontinental Championship? Are you talking, I don't even think 100 people have held the Intercontinental Championship. Or are you talking like who started the 100th reign? Because that's a different question altogether. And yes, Brad Shepard is an idiot, Ken. He definitely is. Alberto says, I would like to see the Elimination Chamber at WrestleMania. Well, the problem with that is you have the Elimination Chamber right before WrestleMania. So you don't need to see it that frequently. JBL did change the name of his finisher briefly, but it went back to being the Clothesline from Hell. I feel like it was like the stock market crash or something like that, but I may be thinking of something else. I might be thinking like IRS or something. But he did keep the Clothesline from Hell because it was still the Clothesline from Hell after a little bit. Who started the 100th reign? I feel like this is almost a trick question because I feel like it's relatively recent. Because I know back in the day with the Intercontinental Championship, like the reigns went on forever. Because Pat Patterson won it in '79 in the friggin' tournament that didn't happen. But I feel like that was relatively recent. I'll have to think about that. Clothesline from Wall Street. Yeah, I'm glad they changed it back to the clothesline from hell. They probably only did that for like not very long, and then they changed it back to the clothesline from hell because it just sounds better. Um, Cherry told Riff them I'm not a JBL fan, but I'm happy he's going in the Hall of Fame because I'm a huge APA mark. Well, funny enough, Ken, I got to see the other member of the APA, Ron Simmons, get inducted into the Hall of Fame when I went to Mania down in Florida. So, fun fact. Great. Name 5 people JBL defeated in WWE Championship matches during Long Reign on SmackDown. Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, Booker T, um, Kurt Angle, and The Big Show. There you go. Cherry, I got a question about game shows since I know you are a huge mark for it. Go ahead. What's your question? Because I'd love to hear it. Because I know this is supposedly a wrestling discussion show, but it's about more than wrestling. It really is. It's an entertainment show. I don't mean to sound all Vince about it, but I'll talk about anything on here. That's what this is for. And that's what your questions are for. Sure, you must be happy during that Hall of Fame ceremony, assuming you were either a Horseman mark or an Edgehead. The Edge speech was great. Ron Simmons' speech was great. It was cool to see the Horseman get inducted too. Um, Michael Gonzalez Edge held the 100th IC title reign. I'm guessing that was in 2004, like his last Intercontinental title reign. If I had to guess, I figure it would be that one, and not like one of his earlier ones. I'm just throwing it out there. Like Edge's title they won from Orton, that would be the 100th reign. I feel like any of his earlier ones would have been too early. Report Card Radio. Greg Bradshaw entered the 2004 Rumble at number 5. Who eliminated him? Benoit. This guy experience. Did you get to Mankind? Question. I didn't even see it. This guy. I'm sorry. I must have scrolled past it somewhere. Curtis Butler in the house. What's up, Curtis? Another $5 from Ken. Did you shoot on the MXC ripoff hosted by The Miz? I'm a huge fan of MXC, Takeshi's Castle, but I think it's going to fail after one season. What do you think? I have not seen it, so I cannot judge. But it is in the same vein of MXC and Wipeout and all those other shows. I enjoyed MXC when it was on. The commentary was hilarious. I kind of enjoyed Wipeout. Actually, somebody from my high school was on that show. Like somebody actually in my graduating class was on that show. She didn't win, but it was kind of funny to watch her bounce around. Ryan, Greg Cherry, WTC Challenge Champ forever. You better believe it. 2 years running. Chris Butler asked me a question about sports wrestling. Do you miss sports? Because there's not a whole lot going on right now other than the NFL, brother. True or false? APA has lost to Big Show and Brock Lesnar in a tag match. I'm trying to remember if Big Show and Brock ever tagged for a match other than freaking Survivor Series. I'm going to say true, just because I'm not sure. Ken, I don't remember Wipeout. Was it on Nickelodeon? No, it was on ABC for a couple years. Actually. Have you already discussed about Gronk? Do you think he will make it far as a wrestler? He has the charisma. I feel like live crowds are got crap on him, personally. If he can wrestle, fine, but he's an obnoxious SOB. And he always has been. Like, even when he was playing with the Patriots, so obnoxious. Was he talented? Yes, but he was so over the top obnoxious. Um, that was on Halloween. It's a false. Okay. See, I don't remember that particular match. I must have messed that up as a SmackDown. Because I know it had to have been a SmackDown match because it was 2003 when Big Show and Brock were teaming. Michael Gonzalez. Gronk could be a good heel. Yeah. He could be a good heel because he is over the top obnoxious. Now, can he wrestle? That's the thing. Another APA question. Who was the last tag team they faced for the tag team championship? And a bonus point for which pay-per-view was at? Were they in that fatal four-way at WrestleMania? For the SmackDown, for the WWE Tag Team Championships? I feel like they were. I feel like they were in that tag team match because Rikishi and Scotty were the champions. I think the Bashams were in there too. I almost... who were the other team? It was WrestleMania. I thought it was WrestleMania. The Bashams were in there. Rikishi and freaking Scotty 2 Hotty were the tag team champions. I cannot remember the fourth team. Was it? It was the world's greatest tag team. It had to have been Haas and Benjamin because they weren't on the card otherwise. So that's who it had to have been. Oh, the last one-on-one tag team match. Okay. Um, let's see. In 2002, they were on separate brands. 2003, they returned as the APA. I don't think during that entire time, other than... Well, you said pay-per-view, didn't you, Report Card Radio? Hey, Marshall, how you doing? Um, you said pay-per-view. That match was on SmackDown. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what pay-per-view the APA would have challenged for the Tag Team Championships at. Uh, I don't feel like it was 2004, other than WrestleMania. Yeah, it has been a while. I'm reading the comments off my phone. That's why I'm looking. See, I'm looking like right here, all my stuff. Um, oh, they faced them at No Way Out. Wait a minute. Who are the tag team champions? SmackDown No Way Out. They weren't the champions then. Like Rikishi and Scotty won them at No Way Out, but the APA weren't the champions. Unless it was freaking... No, it wasn't. It would have had to have been... No, it wasn't them. Who were tag team champions in 2003? Los Guerreros. No, it wasn't. It would have been the Bashams, I guess. It would have had to have been the Bashams. Because I know Scotty and Rikishi won the titles from the Bashams, so I guess it would have to be the Bashams. If it was anybody. It was the world's greatest tag team. Maybe it was no... Was it No Way Out 2000? No, because No Way Out 2003 they faced. No Way Out 2003 they were in the 6-man. The Edge couldn't compete in, so it was a handicap match. You sure it was No Way Out 2004? Because I don't remember a World's Greatest Tag Team being tag team champions in 04. That would have been February, so that doesn't make sense. Yep, they kept the belts and took them. But I don't feel like that's. I hate to disagree. I could have sworn that at No Way Out in 2000. Are you sure you have that right? 2004? I gotta look that up. I don't remember that. The World's Greatest Tag Team wasn't champions in 2004. They were champions in 2003. They won before No Way Out because at No Way Out, it was Angle, Benjamin, and Haas against Lesnar, Benoit, and Edge, but Edge couldn't compete. So they were in a 3-on-2 at No Way Out 2003. APA wasn't on that show. Yeah, I thought it was the Bashams. Yeah. See, my memory may be a little foggy. It's not that foggy. Any wrestling with regret fans? Yeah, I beat Brian Zane. Season 5 finale, I think. Wrestling Trivia Challenge. Yeah, No Way Out 2003 was who I was talking about. Because I figured, because the Bashams beat the Guerreros in 2003 prior to their breakup. And then Rikishi and Scotty would have had to have beat the Bashams because they were champions going into WrestleMania 20. So, yeah. All right. Now that we got that cleared up. So, I know I said I was going to be done at 5, but I'll extend this for like 10 more minutes in case anybody wants a lucky spin of the wheel. Yep. I defeated everybody I faced. I know Jeff's beat me twice, but I beat him 3 times, so it's okay. He doesn't get mad about that, but I like rub that in his face either. I actually asked him about this. He's like, that doesn't make you mad that I like constantly bring that up, does it? He's good. Shawnee Well in Music. Hope I pronounced that right. Hi, Greg. Would love to see you on the No DQ review panel sometime. Is it a possibility in the future? If times line up to record, then sure. Also, what about defending your trivia championship? Defending the trivia championship, I want to happen. Message Jeff Meacham at _Jeff Meacham on Twitter or Instagram. Let him know you're interested, and we'll set up a time to do it. I want to defend the trivia championship. Let me put it this way: it's not that I haven't wanted to defend the title. I have. I've actually been asking Jeff, hey, when can I defend my title? I'm kind of itching to do it again. It's just timing with filming. That's all it is. And if the timing doesn't happen, if we can't get together to film, it doesn't happen. It's not a matter of be like, hey, I've been avoiding filming because I don't want to defend my title. I want to be champion forever. It's like, no, I want to defend my title and like prove why I should be champion forever. So that's why it hasn't happened yet. I actually asked Jeff about that yesterday. I'd be like, hey, message people, see if they want to film WTC. Because while everyone's on quarantine, everybody's going to be home, meaning they should be available to film. I don't know whatever came of that. He said nobody got back to him. So message Jeff. Tell him you're interested. And I'll see you for the Trivia Championship. But that's all I got to say about that. Yes, I'm talking about Jeff Meacham. ROH trivia. Who defeated CM Punk, Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels in a fatal four-way match for the ROH Championship in 2005? Yeah, there's not a whole lot of Ring of Honor trivia in freaking. I want to say it was like James Gibson or something. Like Jamie Noble. I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to say James Gibson because I'm not sure. Again, not a huge follower of Ring of Honor. Put more feelers out there to restart WTC. I had a video up about a month or so ago. I had Aaron post be like, hey, I want challengers. Message me on Instagram at PA Sensation. I did have a couple, but oh, I was right. Nice. Chris Butler, there needs to be a reunion of the four mulemen of No DQ. Aaron, Jeff, Greg, and Virtue. We're gonna try. Again, it all depends on when our schedules line up. I would like to be on a review. So just message Aaron, let him know. Be like, hey, we want to get Greg Cherry more on the No DQ channel. Because I know I haven't been around for a long time. I don't mind doing the videos. It's just I got to be available to film. When your life is insane and you're busy and you're always out of the house, then you don't have time to film. But if I have time to film, then I'll absolutely join the review. Name a superstar in WWE that Jamie Noble teamed up with from ECW. Well, he teamed with Kid Cash because they were the Pitbulls, or like the new Pitbulls or something. I'm assuming that's what you mean when you say who you team with from ECW. And that's the only person I really remember Noble teaming with in WWE. Yep. Because Noble had that music too for a little bit. Even after Kid Cash left. Who did Jamie Noble attack during his debut in WWE? I want to say it was like the Hurricane or something. I know it was somebody in the Cruiserweight division, and I don't feel like it. Well, wait, who's Cruiserweight champion in 2003? No, he was in 2002. No, because 2003 was that weird ass storyline between him and freaking Billy Gunn and stuff. I have to think about it. How do you feel about the state of AEW versus WWE? Well, it's really weird to judge right now because nobody has any fans because of this whole coronavirus thing. I'd rather focus on the quality of both companies separately than have them in a war against each other, because with them airing on different days of the week, like from Raw and SmackDown, I know they air at the same time as NXT, but they're kind of doing their own thing. So it's just another option. I don't see it as a war. Oh, I was right. Cool. Who did Jamie Noble team with in New Japan? I'll be honest with you, I have no clue. I don't really watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Would I like to? Yes. If I had the time to, sure, I would watch it, but I have no clue. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I have no idea. All right, so it's almost 5:15. I said I'd only go to 5, but I wanted to give you that extra few minutes because I was thinking of a trivia answer. But That was Daniel Bryan. Okay. So, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to do this again next week. Um, I will probably be at like a dinner or something right before WrestleMania. So maybe I'll try and do. It depends on when WrestleMania decides to air. That maybe I'll do a pre-WrestleMania stream on the Saturday. We will see. Um, but hopefully I'm back with another one of these next week. Message Aaron, let him know that you want more Great Cherry on the No DQ channel because I know I haven't been on much at all lately. And follow me on Instagram at PA Sensation. Not Twitter because somebody hacked my account last year and I just stay off of Twitter in general now because it's kind of a cesspool. So just Instagram at PA Sensation. Don't forget to check out Aaron Riff's live stream regarding WrestleMania starting in about an hour and 45 minutes. So that'll be on. And he doesn't get a wheel, but I have one. So until next